To work with a work of poetry, art, or composition of music may depend on a divine imprint reflected in the artist's obedience to the tradition of the form, or an imagined form implicit in the work itself. Whether or not artistic endeavor can connect individuals at the level of being is unimportant if we begin instead not with form but with the Creator himself, who sees human creative power as pointing beyond themselves and towards a Creator whose work reflects the purpose and harmony of his own being, and tends toward a perfection of form due to the perfection of whom he is. Rowan Williams describes a gap in theory surrounding art, noting that it ought to be necessary to include practitioners who have experience of creating art, since it is unusual to find sustained theoretical reflection on what the process of artistic composition entails and what it assumes. According to Williams, Jacques Maritain's Art and Scholasticism is one sustained attempt to provide a comprehensive theory of artistic labor on the basis of a very ambitious religious metaphysic. Still, a religious metaphysic is surely a potently ideological ground for interpretation, offering claims of a totalizing kind that are hostile to the honest practice of art. The totalizing claims from ideology that Rowan Williams fears are contradictory to artwork. However, this may not need be a fear if the transcendence of a divine narrative at work in creation can help build a bridge for artists like Sankey, who is seeking to bring univocal meaning to the individuals he is singing to in both England and Scotland. Moody and Sankey were up for the challenge of preaching through word and song to the Scottish audience, even though Moody had been accused of sheep stealing, in addition to their singing of human hymns, with an evil kid's toy known as a kiss to whistles, with a devil in every pipe, referring to the pipe organ, and also the reed organ which Sankey used. These indictments were from believers. Moody immediately had reference letters sent from Chicago, and Sankey strategically reached out to the eminent scholar Horatius Bonar to help him by writing a poem that he could set to a tune. He needed something that conveyed the urgency of the gospel, and he had originally planned to use Tennyson's poem, Late, Late, So Late, and Dark the Night and Cold. So Bonar produced a beautiful poem entitled Yet There Is Room, and Sankey immediately produced his first ever hymn, given both the urgency and the upbeat melody that Sankey desired in his gospel solos. Having faced some challenges in his first 2 months in Edinburgh, Moody was ill the first night, and the organ was smashed the second. Yet on the third night, Providence finally allowed for Moody's compelling preaching and concluding with Sankey's performance of Yet There Is Room, to the personal certification of Mr. Bonar, who congratulated Sankey with, "Well, Mr. Sankey, you sang the gospel tonight."
Late, late, so late, by elfed Lord Tennyson. Late, late, so late, and dark the night and chill. Late, late, so late, but we can hear enter still. Too late, ye cannot enter, no light had we, for what we do repent, and learning this the bridegroom will relent. Too late, ye cannot enter, no light, so late, and dark and chill the night. Or let us in, where we may find the light. Too late, ye cannot enter, no. Have we not heard the bridegroom is so sweet? Or let us in, though late, to kiss his feet. No, too late, ye cannot enter, no.
There is room, by Horatius Bonar. Yet there is room, the Lamb's bright hall of song, with its fair glory, beckons thee along. Room, still room. Oh, enter now. Day is declining, and the sun is low. The shadows lengthen, light makes haste to go. Room, still room. Oh, enter now. The bridal hall is filling for the feast. Pass in, and be the bridegroom's guest. Room, still room. Oh, enter now. It fills that hall of jubilee. Make haste, 'tis not too full for thee. Room, still room. Oh, enter, enter now. Yet there is room. Still open stands the gate of love. It is not yet too late. Room, room, still room. Oh, enter, enter now. Pass in, that banquet is for thee. That cup of everlasting joy is free. Room, room, still room. Oh, enter, enter now. All heaven is there. All joy. Go in, go in. The angels beckon thee the prize to win. Room, room, still room. Oh, enter, enter now. Ere night that gate may close and seal thy doom. Then the last, low, long cry. No room, no room. No room, no room. Oh, woeful cry. No room.
It was not only to Scotland in the missionary campaign with D.L. Moody that Ira D. Sankey marched under the command in an army, for he had also been a soldier in active duty in the USA, and this was also a vast part of his singing experience. The idea of Christians as soldiers in this day was an apt metaphor as well. There was very little difference between giving one's life on the battlefield or on the mission field. This idea may be seen as somewhat negative today, as we may associate totalizing metaphors with ideology, or perhaps with masculinity that is closer to patriarchal dominance. Still, this was a way that Sankey and many others referred to the serving of God in mission work. Sankey's arrangement of Isaac Watts' classic poem, Am I a Soldier?, stresses both the totalizing commitment of gospel work and the sense of marching into service, commitment until one's duty is done. While on mission in London, England, this hymn was discovered in a small paper, a shelter in the time of storm, and had apparently become a popular song for fishermen on the north coast to sing at the end of a long day, coming in from the rough seas. Sankey liked the hymn very much. However, when he went to play it, he discovered it rather strangely out of place, as it had been set to a minor tune. So he soon changed the melody and produced a much happier tune, and one that he hoped would be more practical for men to sing. This hymn conveys hope for the God of comfort, the God of restoration, and that all good things we have promised to us we are able to find in Jesus. Even on the roughest paths that we could be on, we can find shelter in Him. Having himself experienced rock-solid trustworthiness from God, Sankey is here showing that the invitation to God is for all, and he wants, as Jesus would, to invite all to join him. This is one of Sankey's most important pieces, and it is the second one that he had discovered in a newspaper, this time in Scotland after several months-long campaign and journey throughout the land. Having found the poem entitled The 90 and 9, Sankey had the tune barely sketched out, already there on the train. However, he would need to suddenly improvise it for a first performance in Edinburgh, which he did not expect. A published version of the poem had been printed in the newspaper anonymously, yet as the sister of the author was to attend one of their meetings, Sankey later learned that it was an unknown poet named Elizabeth Cleffing. He was immediately compelled to put music to it. The opportunity to sing came right away, as the very next meeting, Moody requested a solo on the topic of the Good Shepherd, and Sankey jumped as he knew the song would fit. The song, having just been requested, was performed as is on an organ with a soloist, although it had only been sketched roughly on a piece of scrap newspaper. The 90 and 9 perhaps shows and sums up the missionary heart of Sankey and Moody, who had prayed and preached fervently for many years of the love of God for the sinful heart of man. Elizabeth Clephane had originally authored this poem for a dear friend who had recognized that the composition is blessed and sent it to be published in a Christian book for children. Sankey's impromptu performance caused this hymn's immediate recognition to a large congregation in Scotland and to Moody himself, who immediately said to Sankey with tears in his eyes, "Mr. Sankey, wherever did you find that hymn? I've never heard the likes of it." Thus solidifying the campaign in Scotland, despite their use of human hymns, having recognized that Jesus himself was using this song.
The 90 and 9, sung by Ira D. Sankey for the Bigelow and Main Company, New York and Chicago. There were 90 and 9 that safely lay in the shelter of the foe, but one was out on the hills away, far off from the gates of gold. Away on the mountain, wild and bare, away from the tender shepherd's care, away from the tender shepherd's Lord, thou hast years, I 90 and 9, are they not enough for thee? But the shepherds made answer,